Good morning. So what I just showed you was my morning routine for the inside plants. So those are all of my jalapenos. I had to move my eggplants into the grow light because they are looking kind of sad. So like I said yesterday, I really need to order another grow light. So that is on my to-do list. I kind of like to spread out my purchases, especially for like our place, over like a couple of my husband's paychecks. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I don't make any money. But he's so good. He's always like, your money is my money. Anyway, this morning I thought I would show you. It's kind of windy. I'm gonna stand over here so that that wind doesn't catch in the microphone. So anyway, every morning I water the peppers, the jalapenos, and oh goodness, we didn't just plant jalapenos. I showed you all the peppers that we planted yesterday. And I water the onions and all these things that it's just too cold to put outside just yet. I know onions are tolerant of the cold, but since I started those inside, I'm just going to kind of wait and hold off until it gets a little bit warmer. Because we've been so lucky. We've had 3 snowstorms, and we also got, like the last 2 days, it's been raining, sprinkling on and off. So I'm so excited because it does not rain that much in Arizona, as most of you know. So, and we are in the northern part of Arizona, so we're not in like the Phoenix area that gets super, super hot. We actually do have real winters here. It really does snow. It really, if we're going to get precipitation, it will be snow during this time of the year. So, really excited that we've had like 3 snowstorms this March, and it's been great. So yesterday I went to Tractor Supply, and I should never go into Tractor Supply during the springtime because I always do some impulse buying. All I needed to get was some new straw for the chicken coop because it is time. It has been over a month since I cleaned it out, and they're not free ranging right now. I used to free range them, but with last year, with how crazy things got, and like you couldn't buy chicks anywhere because everywhere just sold out so quickly, I just like wanted to protect these chickens because they're our source of eggs, and we have predators here, so I just didn't want them getting out and getting eaten because, you know, usually I'd lose 1 chicken every couple of weeks or so during that time, and I just couldn't afford to do that this last year. So I kept them all locked up, so I feel kind of bad for them, but I kept it very clean over the winter. But anyway, I needed to get new straw because I haven't cleaned it for like a month, maybe like a month and a couple weeks. But as I was coming out with the straw, and I was trying to not get a cart, so I get the straw that's already bagged so it doesn't get all over my van. And as I'm coming out, I was holding both of them in both my hands, and it was, you can kind of see what I got. Anyway, I couldn't hold them both, and one of the workers helped me grab a cart. She's like, do you need help? I was like, I guess so. I was trying to do it without any help, and without a cart, and I just couldn't because I wasn't strong enough. But as I'm checking out, you know, they have their bushes and seeds and everything right there. I'm sure they do that on purpose because you're checking out and you're like, oh, it would be so wonderful to have a blackberry bush in my yard. And I've tried to grow these bushes that they sell. Not last year, I didn't try last year, but like a couple of years ago, and 2 years in a row I bought blackberry bushes, and I kill them every year. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but this time I put it in a more watered place. The last time I got them, I kept them in the house forever, thinking that if I got them out of dormancy in the house, they would have a better chance of survival, and then I planted them outside, and then it froze, and then they died. So the plants that I bought yesterday are a raspberry bush. Oh, I don't know if that's backwards. It looks backwards. Anyway, I got a raspberry bush and a gooseberry bush. And I've been thinking all afternoon and last night where I could plant these bushes, because that's another thing. I need to put them somewhere that I'll remember to water them and take good care of them. And I thought, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to take you guys on like a little tour to see things that are starting to break dormancy. The things aren't coming totally out of dormancy yet. It's still too chilly here. But there are some things that I've noticed some growth on that I planted last year, and I was hoping that they would overwinter. And there's some things that overwinter that I had no idea would overwinter, so I'm excited to show you. And there's a few things I planted already this spring that are popping out of the ground. And so, and I planted some things in the fall. So I just want to take you really fast and show, not really fast, this might be a longer video, but I want to show you what is growing, where it's growing, and how it's doing after being in the ground for a year. Some of these plants have been in there for like 6 months, because some things were planted in the fall, some things were planted last year, like our trees, our peach trees and our pear trees. So I'm going to show you, and these peach trees and pear trees we planted from seed, and so we just ate a pear from the grocery store and saved the seed and sprouted them. We stratify them. You need to put them in a cold process, like in the fridge for like 6 weeks on a damp paper towel, and then they sprout, and then you can plant them. So that's what we did. I do have 2 cherry trees from a friend that were just growing in her yard that were little baby trees from the mother cherry tree. So some fruit plants don't grow true to the mother tree. Most, actually. So I don't know if these trees will ever produce fruit. It was just a really fun science experiment, and I think that peach trees will grow peaches. I think they're one of the fruit that it's not as picky and particular as like apples that need to be grafted. But even if these trees don't grow fruit, I could totally graft them and learn how to graft. So I have a plan if they never produce fruit. And if they never produce fruit, at least they're trees, and trees are pretty. And we had like 0 trees on our property last year, except for we let 2 elm trees grow, and those kind of took off. So we decided to let them grow just because we didn't have any trees, and they were doing really well. And we'll probably end up chopping them down as we add different trees here and there that we purchase and stuff. So anyway, let's go see the property. So this is where we planted the trees. This is a pear tree right here. I have protected. You can't, it's not really popping out yet. I can see it down there. It has not broken dormancy, but that's rabbit poop. Doesn't rabbit poop look like? So this is a pear tree. I don't know if you can see. It's right here. It looks like it'll come out of dormancy just fine. And I fertilized them with rabbit poop and straw. And doesn't rabbit poop look like Cocoa Puffs? Anyway, this is one of our pear trees that has not broken dormancy yet. Here is another pear tree. I thought this one was gone and dead. It warmed up and it came back out. So I'll be interested to see if this one grows, because it started sprouting, like something ate it down, probably a cow or a deer. We do have deer, but it came back. So I left this little flag because it came back. And a third pear tree that actually came back over the winter when we had a few weeks of really warm weather, and these things started sprouting out. So I don't know if they've died off and if they'll come back now, but we have 3 pear trees that we planted from seeds. And I'm thinking I'm going to put the gooseberries here, right here, when I plant them. That is what I have decided. Gooseberries by the garage. I can remember that if I put the gooseberries by the garage. And there's one spot there, a tree that I planted didn't grow. So I thought that would be a great spot to put them. Since it'll be a tree, then I don't know how big gooseberries get, but I have some trash I need to pick up. Do you see that? It's been windy here and trash just blows everywhere. The next trees I'm going to show you, I am so pleased with and so happy that they're doing so well, is my peach trees. And I should have protected all the pear trees with this, because then they probably wouldn't have gotten eaten. But look how tall it's getting. This is something I planted from seed, and I'm gonna trim these in the springtime. I think I'll leave this one because it just has 2, but I'll show you there's some that really have just continued to grow over the winter and have like little sprouts coming out, and I don't know, I'm so excited. So here's the next one. And you can just see how much growth is happening. Like that branch, it totally wasn't there. But I'm definitely going to have to do some research before I start pruning them, because I don't want to do any damage. Like, I don't want to stunt their growth in any way. So, and then this is our other project. Ryan is leveling out everything for me. So a few years ago we had a flood, and it was like a huge flood. Sounds funny, you get a flood in Arizona, but when monsoon hits, you get these massive amounts of water, and because the ground just isn't used to it, it'll pool up. And so it pooled up around our house, and our house was like sinking in. It was really bad. But anyway, all this dirt we ended up moving in an emergency, and it was like clumps of dirt. So you can see this is like this wasn't here before, that like these mounds, and that's just kind of what we did to let the water go here. So we're going to keep this lower so that things can drain into this area. We don't want a pond or anything. Neighbors have asked us, are you doing a pond? We're like, no, we're just leveling out the ground and making this area of our yard lower so that water will just drain over here. And I've got trees planted over here and stuff. So anyway, here's my next peach tree. Peach tree. This one's really tiny, but it is growing. It is making progress, and I didn't expect them all to grow. I'm actually impressed that all of them are still alive. This one got eaten down by something, but it's still there, and there's a little, you can see there's a little stump, and I think that it will come back. If not, I'm kind of thinking this might be where I put the raspberry bush that I just barely bought from Tractor Supply. And there's another one, and then this one right here on the end. And then I had apple trees over here, but I don't know, I guess it is still there, but they got eaten. They had grown up about this tall, and they got eaten by probably deer, is my guess. And then I had a willow tree over here, and this blew away and it got eaten. But look, it's actually sprouting. They're very resilient. I don't know if I want to let this willow tree grow, because I have a neighbor that has the prettiest willow tree, and I think I'm going to ask her for some branches. And I also don't know if I want trees right here, because I'm thinking I might want to put like a little barn or shelter for goats in this area. I don't know. I was also thinking of putting a beehive right here. That's why I wanted the trees. But I don't know. It's hard to decide where to put long-term growing things. Here is one of the cherry trees. It hasn't broken dormancy yet, but it's doing well. It's right there. And actually, I am definitely going to put the raspberry bush right here in this ditch. I've just made up my mind on that. Instead of, like, that tree will probably come back, that peach tree, so I don't want to put anything there for it to compete with. This one was a lot smaller. Oh, there's a piece of metal in there. So this tree, I don't know where it's at. This is a cherry tree too. Oh, there it is right there. But this grass has kind of overtaken it. I need to trim it. It's right here. Here's the cherry tree. So yeah, there's my 2 cherry trees. There are some things I need to clean up in the yard. So I had made a temporary flower garden here last year, and it just did not do well. So, but on this archway right here, I am growing a hummingbird vine. I got it. Its root was so tiny, I don't know if it's gonna grow, but here it is. I got this from Tractor Supply. It looked totally dead, but I have hopes that it will grow. So here it is. My hummingbird vine, I am hoping will grow. It's the vines that have those big red flowers. If not, my mom has some at her house, and I think I'll just go and cut a few branches and try and propagate them. This is an apple tree. I'm definitely going to need to cut this, prune this. So last year we pruned these for the first time, and I think it was the best thing we did. It has grown so much. So this tree is from my mother-in-law. These next two trees, actually, I don't remember what type of apple tree this is, but it is an apple tree. I think it's either Golden Delicious or Granny Smith, but I can't remember. Anyway, it's doing really good since we pruned it last year, so I think I'm definitely going to do that again, and especially there. It just forced the tree to grow so well. And this one, it's not doing as well. I think I might have overwatered it last year. So this is our asparagus that just grows randomly on the property. I'll chop it down and it'll start growing back this spring. There's a couple of these around our property. Here's another asparagus. Oh look, see, it's starting to grow. So you can totally harvest this and eat it. It's perfectly safe to eat. So I really need to chop these old ones down. You're supposed to do it in the fall. When it starts to get cold, I just lose motivation to get stuff done outside. So here is our other apple tree. That's growing really well as well. I have planted a rose bush. Right here, it's a vining rose bush, and it has yellow flowers. I actually was keeping it in my bathroom, and I posted about it on my Facebook. It was looking so beautiful, and then I accidentally left it outside all day, and it went back into dormancy. So I'm hoping, I went ahead and trimmed it all back and planted it, so I'm hoping it will come out of dormancy again. I hope I didn't kill it, but that's what this is, and I'm hoping, because I've been looking for a vining rose bush with yellow flowers forever, and so I'm very excited to have a rose bush on this archway that we have. Now let's go into the garden. There are some surprises. Whoa, something got in my garden. Ugh. We need to redo this. Oh, this is bad. Okay, it's gonna be fine. Oh, I hate to come out here and see this. Something got in here. This is onions that I planted in the fall, and something brought trash in here. So, looks like they're growing. Oh my goodness, I don't know what got in here. It's okay. So, this is onions. Onions. And then over here is all my garlic. And I planted these in the fall. And look at this one. It kind of looks like a tulip. It's so much thicker. I don't know if it's the elephant ear garlic, because I did plant elephant ear garlic in here. So, but it is looking fantastic. I don't know what got in here. That makes me so sad. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. Okay, we really have to fix this. Now there is a huge gaping hole where something got in here. That is bad. My blackberry bush got trampled. Ah, it's okay. Looks like it's gonna be okay. This is where I put my blackberry bush. Put this right here. I don't know, is that deer or pig? What is that? I don't know what that is. Something with a hoof. And then my 2 rows of asparagus and strawberries. I think the strawberries died, you guys. So these are my 2 rows. The straw all blew away, and that means the strawberries did not get protected. Oh, look here. Well, that's a strawberry sprout. It just can't handle the freezing. Oop, I just pulled it out. So if there's any roots in there, they might be okay, but the leaves definitely died from that freeze that we got. Well, it's been freezing every night. And then I planted spinach and carrots and peas. Oh, the peas are coming up. I'll show you the peas. That's exciting. The peas are popping up. I planted peas right here. Peas are one of my favorite vegetables. I remember my grandpa had them and we would go and eat them right out of the garden, and I just love them. So, okay. I'm trying not to stress about. So I put eggshells down. They still kind of need to be crunched up, but it's really good to add some calcium into your soil. Now, here's what is so funny, right over here. I planted green onions from the store. I had tomatoes on this last year. I still need to clean it up. Like, this is where I got lazy in the fall and I didn't take all these things down. So I'm gonna come out here next week and get these things down, cut them all down and throw them in the trash. I don't like to use plastic because I know it's bad for the environment, but I don't know. It was the cheapest option I had and I didn't know. I used fabric up here so I can reuse this to tie up tomatoes. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you have to use plastic, and I'll just make sure it gets in the garbage. Anyway, this is the funniest thing ever. I planted green onions underneath the tomatoes. And in the fall, these all wilted back and died. So I thought, like, see, you can see this is what it looked like. It was just this brown stuff laying on the ground. So I thought they were dead, and I wasn't going to worry about, there's a weed. I wasn't going to worry about, you know, this is all my tomatoes from last year. I'm going to crunch them down into the ground and put some manure. But I didn't think that those would come back. These are just green onions from the grocery store that I plopped into the ground, and they grew back this year. Isn't that funny? So I've got some green onions from Safeway growing in my garden that came back. Now, over the winter, I thought that my honeysuckle had died. I watered it every couple of weeks, but it was so brown that I just thought it was dead. See, up here where it's more brown. But look down here. All these little green leaves are coming out. I think it's gonna be okay. So I have two plants, one on both sides, because I just wanted the entrance of my garden to be spectacular. And I think honeysuckle is such a beautiful plant. Hummingbirds love it, bees love it, and this one's doing well too. I'm so happy. So I put a lot of rabbit poop down here. I also fertilized it with fish emulsion fertilizer and eggshells. So I'm trying to amend the ground right here because I know it didn't have the best ground to work with in this spot, but it looks like it's gonna come back. Look how pretty that is. It's nice and full. Anyway, I'm really excited and hope that this fills out. I thought that last year when I bought it that it would just automatically fill out, but I think last year it was working on getting its roots stronger. So anyway, there's the honeysuckle. And the last thing I'm going to show you is something we bought at Tractor Supply this spring to plant, and it's already popping up and it's really exciting. Oh, I'll show you one more thing too before I show you what I was just talking about. So, see all these marigolds? This was my pepper bed last year, and it's going to be my pepper bed again. But I think I'm going to burn those marigolds because there are just millions of seeds. I'm not even exaggerating. But I don't necessarily want... Look at all those seeds. Those are all marigold seeds. And they will all grow. I know it. Ow, I just got a bullhead. Ouch. In Arizona, we have these little things. They're terrible weeds. Ow, ow, ow. Anyway, I think I'm going to burn all this stuff in here. But the funniest thing, I had some garlic that I threw over here because I didn't think it was worth planting. And look, it grew. I was like, something's growing over here. It was popping out of the snow. It's garlic. And I thought that it was too rotten to grow, so I just threw it over here. Like, oh, it's not going to grow. Prove me wrong. You can plant anything and it'll grow, I guess. But this used to be our duck pen. So this, I'm so excited. This is the rhubarb I bought from Tractor Supply. And it already is doing really well. I gave it this area because I found out that it needs 4 feet to grow, like at least 4 feet. So I gave it this area. You can see that there's weeds and grass over here, but I'm hoping it'll just sort of take over and be a rhubarb area. And then right here is my sunchokes. I actually did not harvest sunchokes or taste them last year. I wanted to leave my tubers in the ground, and I'll explain more about what sunchokes are because I had never heard about them, but they are, I guess they grow like a weed and they are a source of food for your family in emergency. So my box is kind of not faring too well. But I got these shoes. Well, these are my old running shoes. I got new running shoes, but these are the shoes I did my 100-mile challenge in. So I've gone 100 miles in these shoes. And I did my triathlon in these shoes. And so I just love these shoes and I couldn't retire them for good. But I'm super excited that I can use them for working in the garden now. And I'm super happy to have new shoes. But when you've gone so many miles in a pair of shoes, I don't know. I feel weirdly attached to these shoes because of all the accomplishments I've done in them. Anyway, that is what is growing. I was going to show you, I was going to plant the gooseberry and raspberry bush today, but I think I'm going to hold off and do that tomorrow because I need to get to the dentist. I have a dentist appointment and my son has a doctor's appointment. So on Fridays, my kids don't have school, and actually my husband is off on Fridays right now with his current work schedule. So he is going to be heading one direction. I'm going to be heading the other direction. And yeah, so that's what I've got going on today. And we also have a surprise thing going on this afternoon, but can't talk about it. Anyway, I'll expound more on that tomorrow. But yeah, I'll plant those bushes. I'll plant those bushes for you on camera and show you what I do to fertilize, like how I use the rabbit poop or rabbit manure, whatever you want to call it. I call it rabbit poop. Looks like Cocoa Puffs. I don't know who designed Cocoa Puffs, but I'm like, ooh. Now I'm like, they kind of might have had a sick sense of humor, or they had never seen rabbit manure before. Anyway, I'm going to plant these bushes tomorrow and not today because I spent a lot of time showing you our property and all the things growing on it. And yeah, I've got to, and now I have that worry of the garden that I need to figure out and get it fixed so things can't get in there. That was really, really sad to walk into this morning and see that, because if something got in there once, then it's probably going to get in there again because it knows there's food in here. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me today on my little homestead. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. If you're enjoying the content I'm putting up, please subscribe, please like my videos, and try and get some more videos of Ryan too. He's not a huge fan of being filmed, but he is amazing. He is part of the reason I am able to do so many projects, because he just has the mastermind of building and being able to put my projects, like execute my projects when I say, hey, I'd like to have a compost box. And I show him what I'm thinking, and then he'll just build it for me. So pretty amazing. So I'm glad that he's on board to do this channel with me, even though I know he doesn't like being filmed very much. So he is awesome. But yeah, that's what I've got growing so far for the spring. What overwintered. The Safeway onions surprised me the most, because I'm like, I thought these were dead. Like, I just experimented by putting them in the garden last year. I didn't think that they would come back. So funny. So funny. Okay. Bye.